Good afternoon, Packers fans. Aaron Negler here with your Packers Daily Chat, coming to you live on the Cheesehead TV social channels. It is Wednesday. The Packers were back on the practice field this afternoon, starting to prepare for that showdown down in Dallas against them Cowboys. Encouraging sign that almost everybody was out in the field in some capacity other than A.J. Dillon, who Matt LaFleur just said was out and did not participate. But yes, Christian Watson was out there. Romeo Dobbs was out there. It's good to see, the full complement on the practice field. I know there's been some discussion about whether Watson will play in this game or not. He did, you know, practice in a limited capacity all of last week and then was not up for that game against the Bears. I still think there's a decent chance he doesn't play in this game, but we'll see how he progresses throughout the week. Hopefully, to get him as a full participant at some point, Thursday or Friday, then maybe those chances increase. But right now, I'm still sitting here thinking he probably won't play. On the other side of things, the Packers defense got his hands full against a Cowboys team that has been putting up points by the bushel full down in that stadium. It's been well covered, well talked about. It was interesting going back and watching last year's contest between the Packers and Cowboys at Lambeau Field, and how they really didn't do a whole lot to contain CeeDee Lamb in that game. Now, Dak did throw a couple interceptions that were intended, where Lamb was the intended receiver, but those plays were much more about miscommunication and mistakes made by the Cowboys between miscommunication between Dak and Lamb. Uh, but for the most part, Lamb was running free quite a bit, and I understand that not every game's the same. It's going to be a very different environment. The Packers got to have somewhat. I'm not even going to say a better plan because I don't think there's anything you can do to completely even slow him down. But you have to get physical with him, and I know he's big and physical, and I understand that you don't want to, have him run by you or get you off that jam and get wide open down the field. But I think you're going to have to be seeing a lot more, I hesitate to say press man coverage, but somebody up in his grill at all times. And I don't think we're going to see that, but at least some kind of ability to keep him guessing and throw him off his rhythm just a little bit. Again, I don't harbor any illusions that the Packers are going to slow him down in any real capacity. He's going to get his. Of that, there is zero doubt. Look, it's kind of funny. I was looking through the Cowboys games from this season, and it's like, oh, here's a game where he wasn't very productive. Oh, that's because the rest of the team was scoring 40 points, and they didn't really need to press the issue. So it's definitely a conundrum as far as you definitely want to roll coverage that way. You definitely want to pay attention to him. You definitely got to have a plan for him. But that rest of the team can, put the gas on that fire real quick alongside CeeDee Lamb. So I do not envy Joe Barry's task this weekend. I know everybody's been having their ups and downs in regards to Joe Barry. You guys know I am no Joe Barry apologist, but I do not envy him this weekend. This is an incredibly tough task, an incredibly tough matchup for the Green Bay Packers as they've played throughout this season. Now, maybe they break tendency. Maybe they come out of profile and surprise us all. I'm not holding my breath on that, but maybe we see something akin to a surprise when it comes to their approach on defense. Um, I know the one kind of game that people have somewhat pointed out, both in my mentions on Twitter and here on the YouTube comments, is the game against Minnesota last year in Lambeau Field, where Jair Alexander did a bit more shadowing of Justin Jefferson in that game. My only kind of reservation there is, yes, I would love to see Jair get his chances. Right, you can't ever go exclusively. I don't think you ever would go exclusively, but I'd like to see him get a couple, more shots than usual to man up, so to speak, and follow their number one, Lamb in this case. But one of the big things that happened for the Packers that game against the Vikings was their ability to basically wreck the line of scrimmage because the Vikings were down so many offensive linemen. They lost their center during the game, who was already a backup. So that really affected Cousins' timing, and that affected the whole timing of the offense, really, because they couldn't block him up front. Down in Jerry World this Sunday, I think the Packers can get after Dak, but I also think they've got a pretty damn talented line and a pretty good scheme that keeps Dak in rhythm. It's going to be a lot harder for them to get the quarterback to hold the ball. Um, Not to say again that it can't be done. I think there's a path forward there, but it is a tall task. It is a very tall task, and I think you'll see a lot of talk about a shootout, possible shootout in this game, and I think there is that possibility exists, no doubt about it. But this is why it's so important for the Packers when they are on offense to control the ball, eat up clock, run the football, stay in striking distance, but try play keep away from this offense because it is not going to be easy. It is going to be a tough task. Hello to everybody in the comment section. So good to see you all. Hope you're doing well. Thanks for starting an hour early with me this fine Wednesday afternoon. As I said yesterday, Packer Transplants will be back tomorrow on Thursday at a regular time, 5 o'clock Eastern. I had to go an hour early because Olive and I are going to a advanced screening of a Queen concert film that's coming out pretty soon. But it's a special IMAX presentation, and she's a huge Queen fan. And I thought, yeah, I got to take her to that. So thank you for indulging me going early today. Jacob, thanks for the super chat. This was Matt's year to win Coach of the Year because next year it'll be, well, he's got Jordan Love. I don't know if the paradigm shifts that quickly, but yeah, it's possible. Definitely possible. Mimsy, what's going on? Plug your headset in with a seatbelt move. Huh? Love it. Matthew Clark, what's going on? Next, I'm excited to watch the draft as Super Bowl champions. Okay, Matthew. I've long loved your, some might say, over confidence, but you're heading into delusion territory now. But I love it. Keep it up. Atomic Hound, haven't seen you in a while. How you doing? My brother says Jordan Love needs to win Sunday to call his season a success. I told him that's ridiculous. Please break the tie and put him in his place. Atomic Hound, that like ridiculous doesn't even begin to approach describing how ridiculous that is. Like you got to add like 5 words in front of that. Probably most of them curse words. I mean, I'm gonna keep calm, but that is absolutely patently absurd. It is by all measurements a success. As Matt likes to say, and as he was just talking about at the podium, it takes all 11 guys on offense to make things work, as you saw evidence earlier this season. Um, Jordan wasn't playing well. His receivers weren't playing particularly well. Offensive line had some issues. Now, all of a sudden, things are actually working around him. He's putting up some MVP type numbers. And the fact that he went through that stretch earlier in the season where the offense could barely move the ball in first halves of games and barely score any points and still ended up producing more touchdowns than any other quarterback except the dude he's facing this Sunday. In his first year as a starter, yeah, it's a successful season. Sorry. It's patently absurd. To tie, he has to win this game. By the way, quarterback wins and losses are not a stat. Welcome to Earth 2024. Dawson, what's up? Hey, Nags, my 9-year-old sang me the Bears Still Suck tune this morning. I was like, is that from all the Nagler Cheesehead TV clips? And he's confirmed. You're big with the kids in Minnesota, my man. F. Jerry Jones, go Pack, go. See, this is a double-edged sword thing, Dawson, because I really appreciate the children are listening, but I know I can get a little X-rated, R-rated maybe sometimes, especially on Watch Party. So I apologize for all the times I've swore in front of your child, but go Pack, go. And yeah, Bears still suck. And yes, F. Jerry Jones, definitely. Dag. Uh-oh. Fix your mic. I literally just tested it. Is that the word I'm looking for? Tested it. Test check 1 2 1 2. Test my mic. What's going on? Sounds good to me. It looks like it's good. But you guys tell me. Is it terrible? Am I awful? Should I just stop? This is terrible. My 10-year-old daughter sings the Bears Still Suck. It's fine. I hear you. See? But that's so weird. So why are 2 other people making allusions to the microphone, but everyone else is like, oh, it's okay. But is it platform specific? The gain is messed up. Ooh, we got audio people in here. Hold on. Hey, check 1 2. See, but now I can't really hear it. And that's just terrible. Well, you're gonna have to suffer through, man. Hmm. Sounding distant. That's so upsetting. I don't understand. I truly don't understand because the audio comparative to every other time I've ever done this looks the exact same, sounds the exact same when I test it. I don't know, boys and girls. Hearing loud and clear in Scotland. If they get it in Scotland, you're all just whack. Smooterino, what's up? Under this discussed part of Packers turnout, how intriguing the D line is becoming. Brooks looks like a steal, and Wyatt is showing more and more flash plays. Yeah, I think there's definitely kind of an uptick as far as how much they're starting to rotate some of the, I guess, younger guys. Although it is weird how Brooks really kind of disappeared from the rotation for a while, and now he's back. And it's like I don't understand what he was doing that caused him to lose playing time, and then you reinsert him, and he's playing just as well as he was before. Yeah, that's a weird one to me, but you are right. The defensive line, and I think the rotation is helping, and the ability to utilize some of those guys up and down the front in different situations, in different spots. Yeah, I think that's a big component to the improvement in the pass rush, as long along with sending numbers every once in a while. I think all of that has helped. Jeezy baby, thanks for joining the Care of the G Club. Appreciate you, man. What else we got here, folks? We got Badger Trio. 7.5 point underdog after the Bears players saying you're not good after you smack them for 60 minutes, fuel on the fire for the team. Yeah, I mean, 7.5 point underdog. I think that's what they were on Thanksgiving. It might have been even more. As Mike McCarthy is fond of saying, we're nobody's underdog. Got the hands on the wheel, press on the gas. Let's go. Oh, Derek asks, Bakhtiari back next year? Draft a safety early in the draft? I think there's always a chance in Green Bay that a safety might get got early. Always seem to be in need. I saw Jeremy Chin with the Panthers is going to be hitting free agency. That's my dream signing. I'd love that, but um, I know the Packers are still kind of up against it cap wise, so I suspect they will turn to the draft. Not necessarily, it doesn't necessarily have to be in the first round, but maybe, depending on where they end up and what's on offer, who's off the board, all of that stuff. As far as Bakhtiari, yeah, I've said it many times. I absolutely expect him to be back next season. Um, I won't be shocked if he's not, but I know he has stated his intention is to be back, and I know he and Gutekunst have both indicated they're going to discuss things this offseason. So the big question mark, obviously, is his contract and the humongous cap hit he's set to have. So that has to get ironed out. But I suspect, yeah, he will be back. That's my guess. The sound is fine in Chile. See, Chile's got it, people. Jeezy baby, what's going on? Do we need? Oh, is that who is that? I know who that is, Jeezy baby, but I can't remember how to pronounce it. And no, we need Corey Banky in the crowd to get this dub. Don't ever forget the Jared Cook game. You all call it the Jared Cook game. That's the Corey Banky game. Corey was there front row, baby. Ryan, what's up? It seems like McCarthy is a little nervous about Sunday, like his job might be on the line. His job is on the line. Don't get it twisted. It absolutely is on the line. Although I haven't seen him looking nervous. I think he's kind of just like Mike McCarthy always looks. But yeah, oh, his job is on the line. If they lose to a Pro Bowl less first time starter led team after being as dominant as they've been all regular season in that building, oh yeah, I mean, there's no way. I think, Jerry Jones will probably fire him immediately after the game so he can try to keep Dan Quinn, who got to think is probably the front runner in Seattle now that Pete Carroll has left the building. Intrigue, all sorts of intrigue. Joe, what's up? Lions held Cowboys to 20 in Dallas a couple of weeks ago. Lamb had 200 plus, but Cowboys couldn't run the ball. Thoughts? Hope to hear "Go Pack Go" chant Sunday. Yeah, I'm not holding my breath on the Packers shutting down the Cowboys running game. I know Pollard hasn't been his old self since the injury. I know, the Lions did do a pretty decent job of, not letting their run game get on track. I think the Lions run a very different defense than the Packers. I suspect I really suspect the Cowboys to maybe not walk up and down the field regardless of mode, but I think the Packers are going to have issues trying to slow this Cowboys offense down. That said, I mean, you're right. Lamb had huge numbers against the Lions, but they only scored 20 points. Um, Dallas certainly got a bit of luck rolling their way there at the end with the reporting is eligible nonsense. But yeah, I mean, that's not unlike last year against the Packers, where Lamb had 100 plus, 2 touchdowns, but Packers won the game, right? And they did it by running the football. Rob Kress, what's up, man? Nags for DC. Nobody wants that. Trust me. Braden, what's up? Still can't believe we handed Detroit Brian Branch. See, that's your brain on the draft industrial complex. Because what you're not including there is the fact that it got them three pretty damn good players, starting with Jaden Reed. I mean, there's a trade-off here, right? It's literally called a trade, and their Packers got something in return, namely selections, which they then turned into some pretty damn good looking players. And Hand and Branch, we got some good players. Most hated. Thanks for being a Care of the G Club member. Appreciate you, man. Mike McCarthy meltdown incoming. Dallas shall bow down to the Pee Wee Pack. Pee Wee Pack. That sounds like something with a sign you'd see like on the edge there at Lambeau in the 70s. The Pee Wee Pack is back. Hey, I will take a Mike McCarthy meltdown. I'm all in on this plan. I'm happy to be a part of it. Let's do it. Mario, what's up, man? What is the game that made you think Jordan was our franchise quarterback of the future? I don't know, man. It wasn't really a singular game, though. I think it was probably around the Chiefs game. It was around that time. It's rare that one game like ultimately cements it, but it was around that time. That's all I remember. What else we got here, folks? What else we got? Badger Trio, what's up? Do we back in the Love deal to help build the team? I mean, that contract's going to be fascinating. I'm sure the Packers would love to do it. It's kind of what they've done. The Kenny Clark deal. His first two cap hits were pretty minimal until that third year, and then it kind of blew up, right? By design. I'm sure they'll try to do something similar with Jordan, but the man has waited 3 years to get to this point, and now he's showing up, in a big way. I think, yes, there will undoubtedly be attempts to make that happen with Jordan's people, but it takes two to tango. At some point, you got to pay the man. Now, maybe you can design it in a way that, yes, heavy on guarantees, but keeps suppresses the cap hit for a year or two. And I'm sure, again, that will be the plan. Aaron Jones, Cowboy Killer. That's what I talked about yesterday. Yes, very much agreed. I've seen this movie before called Little Giants. The QB left and new QB came and beat the Giants. Anyone? Anyone? I remember that movie. It's a pretty good one. Anthony, what's up? Do I think Getsy lands back with the Pack? I saw that earlier today. Luke Getsy has been relieved of his offensive coordinator duties in Chicago. No, I don't suspect he'll be back in Green Bay. I think he will end up in New York with the Jets. He is a longtime Aaron Rodgers guy. When Getsy left to be an offensive coordinator in a college program, Rodgers was effusive in his praise of Getsy and was pretty much the driver in bringing him back to Green Bay when LaFleur got the job. So I would suspect he'll be a Jet sooner rather than later. Total guesswork on my part, obviously. Jeezy baby, do a contract and pay Love for 30 years. This ain't baseball, baby. We don't want no. Have you seen the breakdown of that contract? How they what they are paying now versus after you're like later in that contract when he's retired? That thing is insane. It's like Bobby Bonilla Part 2 Electric Boogaloo. Jets have Hackett already. Yes, they do. And Rodgers could very easily say, well, that's fine. Getsy's my quarterback's coach. Guys, you really think they're going to say no to Aaron Rodgers at this point? Come on now. A Jelton, I'm not sure I'm pronouncing that right, but thanks for the super chat. He was ridiculed by many for taking Jordan Love when he did in 2020. Now he deserves executive of the year for 2023. Goody, take a bow. Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't even get mentioned, which is par for the course, right? But yeah, I mean, I think you look at the job he's done as far as, especially on offense, really injecting a talent base, an entire kind of nucleus of a team in essentially two drafts. It's pretty damn impressive. And then for Jordan Love to, flourish the way he has in the back half of this year. But I do think that will hurt Gutekunst more than anything. The fact that he took Jordan Love when he did, it's not executive of the last 4 years, it's executive of the year. And Jordan Love was a long term investment who he finally got to see the field this year. It was all part of a long term plan. But a lot of times it's about instant turnarounds, big fluctuations, hitting on a big draft pick or two. And I know, yeah, Goody's hit on a ton this year. But as you can see from the Pro Bowl voting, from the fact that Matt LaFleur is really not being considered for coach of the year, Green Bay is an afterthought because they don't operate like a lot of other teams and therefore are rarely in these types of conversations. Dak, what a weird super chat. Dodgers all the way. Man, it's going to be funny watching them lose in the playoffs. That's all I know. I mean, all that money. It's like the Mets last year. Remember the Mets all last offseason? And then what happened? They sucked. And the best part about that was like the Brewers with like 1/10 of the payroll almost swept them. So God bless. Love it. Am I surprised by the point spread? No, not really. Nothing about that from the, odds maker standpoint should be a surprise, I would think. The way, yes, the Packers have played better, slightly better on defense the last couple of weeks, doesn't negate all the issues you've seen on the defensive side of the ball all throughout the season. The way the Cowboys have just been an animal, a completely different animal at home when it comes to their offensive output. And then, as the youth for the Packers, they've only been doing it for half the year offensively. Yeah, I can't say I'm surprised. Menace, what's up? How you doing, man? It's so exciting, the thought of adding 6 more top 120 picks to this roster, given Goody's recent track record with drafting. I cannot be more excited for this team's future. I mean, they are in a really good spot when it comes to the draft as far as not only can they make those selections, but they can move around the board if they want. If there's a guy they absolutely love, that they think they have to have or whatever, they've got ammo to maneuver however they want. And yeah, a lot of premium picks. Absolutely love it. And it's going to be needed this year because they're still, like I said earlier, they're still up against it cap wise. They get out of the shadow of the Aaron Rodgers contract, which is a obviously big step forward, but still a lot of dead money, still a lot of things they're going to be, dealing with for 2024. Can our kicker kick it deep? That's weird because I know he can. We've seen him do it, but they so rarely ask him to on kickoffs. So I don't know. I don't know what the story is there. I know Rich Bisaccia is taking the podium tomorrow afternoon. I hope and pray one of our illustrious media members on the beat brings that up because it's odd that you've seen him do it. Now, maybe it's a weather thing. Maybe it's not as easy for him to do it in the cold. I'm just guessing here. I have no idea. I know he's got a strong leg. We've seen him hit some pretty damn long field goals. I've seen him kick it out of the end zone. So, yeah, it's a mystery. Mike, what's up? 14th year anniversary of Arizona playoff game. Still have nightmares about Rodgers' overthrow in OT to Jennings. Yeah, I know the NFL highlighted it on their Twitter account today, and there's so many amazing plays in that game. Greg Jennings has an incredible touchdown catch. He has an incredible like a pirouette catch up the right sideline at one point. What was crazy to me, there's so many plays and mostly scoring plays that you have to highlight in the game that they didn't even include, so that from what I saw, they didn't even include one of the most insane throws and catches I've ever seen. Rodgers hits Jermichael Finley up the right sideline. And I think it's in the first half at some point. And it's just one of the most amazing plays you will ever see. And it's not even in the highlights because there's so many highlights. Like, yeah, that game was insane. I mean, obviously, if you're a Packers fan, a brutal ending, but just an awesome all-time fun back and forth, NFL playoff game, no doubt. Andy, what's up? Seeing the coaching carousel go round and round, is there anyone we should be worried about losing to another opportunity? I don't think so at this point. I think it's still a little early. I said this on Twitter yesterday. Like, give this squad and staff another year of this type of production they've had down the stretch here. Then I think those calls will start coming in. But right now, I would tend to doubt it. You never know, because sometimes guys have relationships from way back, and it's like, if I ever get this spot, I'm going to give you a call, like, kind of thing. So maybe in that regard, there might be an outlier in that mix. But I would suspect, like, name recognition, which is what a lot of owners definitely, and even some coaches go off of. It's a possibility down the road, but I don't think so this year. Maybe a team will want Papa Joe. I like it. I was watching that game in Afghanistan. Menace. Oh, that's insane. I can't even imagine. I mean, I love that thought, though. The idea that there are literally fans all over the world watching when the Packers play every single game. Man, that's special stuff right there. Carl, what's up? Do you think the Jets deferring to Rodgers regarding players acquired will set the Jets back for years? Thanks. I don't know about for years, but it's certainly, I would think, stunting their growth at the moment, especially given the fact that they made so many moves because of Rodgers, brought in so many players because of Rodgers, and then to lose him immediately and then have to be carrying all those guys. And at first, when they were kind of still trying to, stay alive for the playoffs, maybe Aaron will come back kind of thing. Though I don't think Aaron was ever going back. You had Alan Lazard out there for a number of games doing very little and keeping younger guys on the sideline. So I think, yeah, there'll probably be some kind of like depression factor when it comes to the potential for development. But, at the end of the day, they're still in Super Bowl or bust mode. They still have a really good defense. They'll come back next year and try to reload on offense a bit. And eventually Aaron will probably retire. And then my guess would be they'll start cleaning it out and a new regime will come in and probably have to start over. So that's my guess. But we got a lot of ball game left in that regard. I like it. You guys are big Rodgers fans, I can tell you. Can we lure Dan Quinn away from the Cowboys with a 24-day supply of Carry the G beer and a 3-month supply of cheese curds? Logan, I'm thinking probably not. Though I know, LaFleur just mentioned how, they were on staff together in Atlanta. I don't know how close they are, but it'd be great to see him as a defensive coordinator in Green Bay. But I think he's got head coaching aspirations. He's turned down a couple of opportunities these last couple hiring cycles. I suspect he's on his way back to Seattle as a head coach. That's my guess. All right, buddy, I got to get going. I cannot thank you enough for hanging out, talking Packers, dealing with my audio issues. Please do me a monster favor. Hit like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and then tell your friends and tell your family. Cheesehead TV, we are devoted to Green Bay Packers fans worldwide. Thanks a lot, everybody. Have a great night. Go Pack, go.